Looking for your shot to take over the NBA? Look no further. HLCC is looking for new recruits. Join the Discord server, create your player, and watch them rise in the rankings as they flourish into an NBA player and eventually find their way onto the YouTube channel. Join today, and you could be the next to take down yours truly, CBJ. Make sure to hit that like button and turn on post notifications to get updates on the latest HLCC content.
It is a beautiful night here at the Barclays Center, and we are very proud to present the 2026-2027 HLCC Draft presented to you by Wingstop. In the draft, you always are looking to find your guys that can help you be better in the future, better now, and so on and so forth. And I think in this draft, there's a lot of fun, exciting guys that are ready and prepared to, do whatever that they need to do, whether that's, help a team contend or maybe just be the guy, the franchise's future.
Especially if you look at what happened in the playoffs this season. You had the teams as in the Thunder and the Hornets, two teams who were able to spark their rebuild through the draft process and eventually led their way up into the finals. So, especially in this year's draft class, where I think, in my opinion, there's a lot of guys who are able to step in and play real role player minutes now. This is integral for any team looking in the future to go from the play-in to the championship.
Speaking of rebuild, a team like the Wizards, they go out, get young stars, Nasir and Mikey, build around them, go to the playoffs, get swept. I think that can definitely be a team that looks for vet presence in the locker room. Maybe trade up in the draft, look for a young star. I could definitely see them making noise in free agency.
Speaking of free agency, Philadelphia making a huge move, going for MVP and DPOY Emmanuel Demarius Johnson. What do you guys think that will do to the East that was already kind of weak? Do you think this is going to make the East a little bit more aggressive? Maybe other teams in the West as well. What do you think this is going to do to the league as a whole, a move like this?
I think, we can obviously tell that this league in general is just reactionary. There's a lot of moves in history and where one guy moves here, so in return, this other guy's going to move here, just in preparation for such a team that's going to occur. One of the best examples I can think of is when KD goes to the Warriors, and then you have Chris Paul going to the Rockets. Obviously that wasn't in the same year, but still reactionary. With a guy like EDJ going down into the 76ers, such a transcendent basketball player in and of itself, every team in the league is going to be eyeing and vying for the next talent in order to push them over that edge and able to compete with this new 76ers roster that's brewing.
Absolutely. And I think as we're on the topic of, finding that talent to compete, the Clippers have a huge decision on their hands. JD, Kenny, JD Benarco, really good player. Kenny Check as well. Both could be generational. Who do you guys think that the Clippers actually take? Because I know it might look a little bit obvious, but I feel like the Clippers, they're trying to find the fit around Javante. So who do you guys think that guy is?
If I'm the Clippers, I'm taking a look at two guys who have the upside to be two offensively generational talents. 2 6'9" guys who are able to think, in my opinion, play anywhere from the 1 through 3. They both can create on the ball, off the ball, in the post, in the mid-range, at the three-point line, all around. They're just great offensive talents. But if I'm the Clippers, this has to be less than the floor. This has to be more than just anything that I can visibly see and discern from just watching their games. This has to be a mental and spiritual selection. So that's why if I'm the Clippers, I'm taking JD Benarco. I'm taking a guy who brought it out of the mud. I'm taking a guy who understands what it takes to take a bad team over the edge with professional experience already. I'm taking a dog. No disrespect to Kenny Check, but he does not have that dog that JD Benarco does. So that's why if I'm the Clippers, I'm selecting with the number 1 pick, the no-brainer, the projected pick, the correct pick, JD Benarco.
See, that's where I'm going to have to disagree with you, Zohan. I think Kenny is going to be the #1 pick, and it's because of his ceiling. JD Benarco doesn't have the ceiling that Kenny has. Kenny coming out of high school is just great. He's the next LeBron. He's the next Magic Johnson. His ceiling even looks better than Ben Simmons. I think Kenny Check coming to this draft will be picked by the Clippers, and he'll do great things for that franchise. Back to you, Puffer.
I think both takes are incredibly valid, and right after this we're going to be able to talk a little bit more about these two players and figure out who the Clippers actually pick. Please stay with us.
They try to take my floor, I take their for ransom. I know that I'm gone.
Everyday hustle like William. Yeah. Everyday hustle like William. I'm charging the chicken just for the verse. Yeah. I get in that kitchen, I could go to work. I go berserk. Yeah. Go out and get it, secure the city, can't seem like the Titanic. Bitch don't want my free bandit. This paper coming to me 24 hours. I can't go sleep. I know the power of $1, told 50 rounds at least. She know I get money, she know. As soon as I up, let's go. Just like double alone. Stay down with me or let me go.
Hey, safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping up shit since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating
Flavor.
Cause I'm the biggest, the largest.
Everyone wants a taste.
30K on my riches for hard times. These niggas just mad cause they bitching my archives.
We welcome you back from the break and back to the 2026-2027 HLCC draft presented to you by Wingstop, and the Clippers are officially on the clock. So guys, who do you guys think the Clippers should take, and who do you guys think fits their, mold?
Honestly, I think I'm still sticking with JD. A Javonte and JD comparison would be very similar to a Russ and KD. I don't see a point where the Clippers do pass on them.
I agree. I think that JD Benarco here is the no-brainer take. You select him, you build off of him. Him and Javonte, I think 3 words: Javonte Carter and JD Benarco, must-see TV.
I completely disagree with you guys. You guys must be crazy, because when you look at Kenneth, I definitely want an all-around athletic scorer with my two-way threat. I'm never ever gonna have JD Benarco over Kenneth Check Jr. You guys must be crazy.
I feel like we've kind of talked so much about Kenny and JD. Are there any other names that can maybe go to the Clippers? Maybe a Jalen Young Jr. or Oz Morant?
I could definitely see a guy like Oz. A guy, some would say a project, others would say generational talent. It's really a throw up to what people think of him. A guy that had a great career at Texas Tech, defensive menace, and overall, if he develops an offensive game, the guy could be top 5 in the league, maybe even top 3.
I gotta agree. I was thinking Oz or maybe even Kofi Bass, a guy who is able to manhandle and take over an organization where it's not very looking that good. The Clippers, Javonte is a great point guard, but I do think that he can be slotted into the 2 spot. So they could really take anyone with this selection here.
I agree as well. I think the team can pick anybody. They need everything they can get. If JD and Kenny are off the board, then I'll also say Oz, because he has that dog in him.
Absolutely. And I think at the end of the day, I feel like the best fit, I feel like a lot of people have been talking about, would have been a big for them. Jalen Parker last year went really late in the draft, got waived by OKC, found his way on the Clippers, but he doesn't really, show that starting 5 or starting center potential. So maybe it would have been better for them to go for somebody else. But, sometimes in drafts, you just can't find what you can get. So you have to kind of just take what's there, And I think whoever the Clippers take, I think they have a lot of great options. I think whoever they take is going to be really beneficial for them. But we're going to take it over to Adam to see the official pick for the LA Clippers.
With the first pick in the HLCC draft, the Clippers select J.D. Bonarco out of BYU.
J.D. Bonarco out of Real Madrid and BYU. Have to be happy for the kid, have to be happy for him and his family, and I think him around, Javonte, Anthony Bosch, and everything they're building down there in LA, I think he was a great pick, and obviously he's generational type talent, and I think he's going to be a really fun player to watch in this league.
I don't think there's nothing much more to say. I mean, the Clippers took the right selection. The generational guys on the board, you take them. Honestly, it's just going to be interesting to see how Javonte and JD share the ball. We both know ball-dominant players, so I'll have to see going into this next Clipper season.
I have to agree. I don't have much to say. This is a no-brainer selection, in my opinion. Take the guy. You have the guy. But let's see how they use the guy.
I completely disagree with this pick. Kenneth Check Jr. should have been picked with this number 1 pick. Ty Lue and Javonte Carter are probably on and at their homes right now as we speak, mad and speaking with management. I won't be surprised if Javonte Carter will be out of the Clippers organization within a few years. I'm not surprised.
Anyways, the Kings are officially on the board. What do you guys expect from the Kings now? Because it was JD and Kenny. Do you guys think that they just go with the obvious pick, or do you think new names are going to be in conversation for the Sacramento Kings?
I mean, in my selection, I expect them to take Kenny. But at the end of the day, it is the Kings organization. They're going to take the bus. I don't believe Kenny will be that good. I believe Oz is the real guy they should be taking. I think he's a generational talent. But that's just me. I mean, a generational defender, if he finds out the offense, that's a top 3 guy in the league.
I feel like you're putting a lot of discredit onto Kenny Check's name when he's shown, even when he's played Oz has never beat Kenny in a basketball game ever. We can look at the timeline. We can look at what they've done against each other. Every time Oz shows out, Kenny does just as well. We know Kenny Check Jr. is that number 2 pick. I don't think you have to overthink it.
I completely agree. Back on their Duke versus Texas Tech days, we all seen Kenny put absolute belt to Oz. I think Kenny really is the number 2 pick, if not the number 1 pick that he was supposed to go to.
I mean, absolutely. I think when it comes to picking here, they also have to kind of be looking at their future, because obviously not that many great centers, but Domantas Sabonis is a free agent going into this season, and he has been rumored to be in talks with some other teams, and it doesn't look like he's coming back to Sacramento. And, after the whole Elijah Goldwood move and losing Fox, the Kings are really bare right now. So I guess, who do you guys think can really just come in, and even if they have to be a project, just, be that guy for the Kings, because that's really what they're looking for now with Fox and Sabonis potentially, Fox moving on. But, those guys moving on from the franchise.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about highest floor, you have to give it to Jordan Hart. The guy is a 3-and-D shooter. He's elite at that spot he plays, and you saw it in Miami. Even when he wasn't scoring, the dude was getting steals, getting blocks. I mean, the dude is almost the best defender in this draft class if it wasn't to Oz.
I have to agree with the floor. I think Jordan Hart, any contender, would die to have a guy like that on the court. Someone who puts their all in at all times, who goes in, and when you really look at a floor and potentially what a role could be filled in the NBA, Jordan Hart is the prototypical standard for any new guard coming into the league. I see him as a better Cason Wallace on day 1.
Absolutely, and I think For the Kings, really big decision here, but we're going to go to Adam Silver for the official pick for the Sacramento Kings.
With the second pick in the HLCC draft, the Kings select Kenny Check Jr. out of Duke.
The Kings will go with Kenny Check Jr. out of Duke. I really like this pick. It was going to be JD and Kenny 1 or 2, both really generational talents, and I really like this fit for Kenny, being able to essentially get the keys to the franchise a little bit. I think this is going to give him, he's going to have a lot of time on the Sacramento Kings team to be able to develop and become the best version of himself. So I'm really happy for him, and I think he has a very bright future in this league.
I agree, Puffer. This pick was amazing. Kenny's going to be their franchise player because I think this isn't a coincidence. 23 years ago, LeBron played against the Sacramento Kings, and I think this is just LeBron passing the torch to Kenneth Check Jr., who is going to be the next big thing.
I mean, absolutely, if you look at it that way. The Bulls are now officially on the clock. Who do you guys think they should go for, and who do you guys think is the best fit for the Chicago Bulls?
I mean, a guy that hasn't been talked about a lot, a guy like Jalen Young. I know the Bulls looking for a point guard definitely to fit with Zach LaVine and AD. I mean, I could definitely see them build their future around a guy like Jalen Young, a young point guard with high aspirations. I don't see a point where they couldn't take a guy like him.
I think Jalen would be a great selection here, but me personally, I would have to go Oz, especially because this Bulls team's depth chart filled with guards. But you have a guy like Oz who could slide over to the 3. He played the 4 in high school. He's very switchable, very moldable, regardless of the situation you have to put him in. So I think putting him on the Bulls, where their direction is a little bit uncertain, as they weren't a big contender in the East, but at the same time they have Anthony Davis, so they're not tanking. So it's just a big question mark from here on out.
I'm also going to have to disagree with all of you guys once again. I think Kofi Bass, the national champion out of Purdue, will have to go to this pick just because of the fact how he beat both of these players, and we're not talking about him enough. I think Kofi Bass is a top 5 pick, if not this pick right now. I think he'd fit with Tom Thibodeau's offense. I know this is a guard stack team, but Kofi Bass could dilute some of that load and help some of these players score more.
Definitely, and I think there's a lot of good picks here, but we can only see here. Adam Silver, go ahead.
With the third pick in the HLCC draft, the Bulls select Jordan Hart out of Miami.
Wow. I mean, really surprising pick from the Bulls going with Jordan Hart, but I do like the fit, and I do think he actually could really fit besides Zach LaVine and Anthony Davis. Wait a minute. We're getting breaking news from Amari Sterling. Jordan Hart will not be going to the Chicago Bulls. He will actually be taking the flight to Philadelphia. The Philadelphia 76ers are going to be trading for Jordan Hart. They're trading their 9th pick along with their 2027 Lakers first that they got from the Embiid trade last year, which is projected to be around lottery, maybe even top 5 with how bad the Lakers are looking right now. And I think this is a really good move for Philly. I didn't expect them to actually do this. They already had really good relationships. I already knew that EDJ and Jordan Hart have been in conversation, and I'm really shocked to see that they were actually able to pull it off. But now that you look at their depth chart, you're looking at a Maxey and Jordan Hart backcourt, not to mention an EDJ and Evan Mobley frontcourt, along with guys like Elrell James, McCain, Kelly Oubre, John Collins. They have all these picks as well. Even Paul George. They still have Paul George. So they have a lot to work with, and they have a lot of picks if they want to make moves and a lot of assets to be able to make those moves. So, Philly, man, after an injury-riddled season, they're making a lot of moves and trying to win now. You gotta love it. But it's time for the Bucks to make their decision. And Odom, I must ask, who do you think they should go for, and who do you think would really fit their mold, especially with how confusing they've been lately?
Honestly, after a very disappointing season, I only see them going with a guy like Jalen Young. I mean, you see him at BYU. You see his playmaking ability and even his scoring ability. He reminds me of a little bit of a De'Aaron Fox type player, and especially with the Bucks having absolutely no youth, and with Giannis expected to sign somewhere else, I believe they should go with Jalen Young.
Absolutely. I really do love Jalen Young as a prospect. Really, really shifty. Incredibly good passer. Really fast. Probably the fastest player in the draft. Him or Oz are really close. And I feel like if it's not Jalen, they could go after other guys. If Giannis is leaving, they could try to find like a new power forward to kind of take his place. That could be Jace Miller. They could even go for a guy like Oz Morant. They could even go a little bit farther down, go for like a Darrell Henderson if they're looking for a little bit more of a scorer instead of like a facilitator like Jalen Young. But I do feel like Jalen Young, if you're looking at the board, he is a really good pick. If they do decide to keep guys like DeJounte and Chris Middleton, I think he fits with them. And if they're just looking to just fully rebuild, I think he's a really good guy to, include in that rebuild process, because he's shown a lot of potential, and I genuinely do think he's going to be a really good player in this league.
Yeah, overall, I think I agree with that. I mean, you can't even go for a guy like Darrell Henderson, a good scoring combo guard, but having DeJounte Murray, I don't think there's a point to go for a guy like that. And especially, same with Oz, you could put him at the point guard position, but that's just not his natural position. So this is why I think they should stick with just taking Jalen Young.
Well, I think any choice that they make, they have to be very precise with their pick. But we've got Adam Silver at the podium with the decision.
With the 4th pick in the HLCC draft, the Bucks select Jalen Young Jr. out of BYU.
I mean, pretty obvious pick for me, and I really do like this pick for the Bucks. Going for a guy like Jalen, he's going to fit the Milwaukee culture. He's going to go out there and do what he has to do. And, most rebuilds, they start with the point guard. You have to find the guy who's, controlling the possessions for the most part, operating the floor. And when you find your point guard, it really helps you go on with the rest of the rebuild. Like for the Wizards, they found Mikey. For the Clippers, they found Javonte. And it really, sets the standard and helps you really understand what the rest of your rebuild looks like. And I really do like Jalen for the Bucks here.
I agree, especially with a team like the Bucks who aren't looking to contend right now. Taking a semi-project in Jalen Young, who you can let him develop, maybe even become a star. I think this is a great pick for them, and I'm sure Jalen Young is very happy with this.
Is happy with where he's going, but we have a lot more work to do in this draft. We've got the Utah Jazz up next. And recently they've made a really big move that's, kind of taken them from lottery team to straight playoff contender. Trading for a guy like Darius Garland, also bring in Miles Turner. They traded away Chester Banner and their 2027 first round pick next year. They also traded away their 32nd pick in this year's draft and Khalil Palmer to Portland. So a lot of moving, obviously, but they got their guys in Darius Garland and Miles Turner, and that's really changed the culture of the team. They're going to be a lot better now. Kyle, what do you think about that move for them, and where do you think that leaves the Jazz in the West?
I feel like the Jazz could possibly make the playoffs. The least they could do is make the play-ins. With Chester Banner obviously leaving the team, I think the team needs to pick up a reliable forward. And because they have reliable centers, reliable guards within Donovan Hood and Darius Garland, I feel like they should pick up Jace Miller from Kansas, which would be a very great lob threat alongside Darius Garland.
Absolutely. I think he's super athletic, can jump out the gym. Reminds me a lot of John Collins. Really athletic, super bouncy, and he even has a post game to him. So I feel like this would be a really great pick, and it's nice having the luxury of making such a big trade that kind of brings you into, a little bit of a win now mode, and then being able to have the 5th overall pick. I think Jace Miller is a really good pick. But we're going to see right now from Adam Silver who the Jazz take.
With the 5th pick in the HLCC draft, the Jazz select Jace Miller out of Kansas.
I think this is a really great pick for the Jazz. I think Jace Miller, like we were saying before, really fits the mold. I think he's going to be a really fun player to play alongside Darius Garland. He's going to bring athleticism. He's going to bring transition opportunities. He's going to bring off-ball movement and off-ball actions. And I think he's going to be a really good player for them.
I agree, Puffer. Jace Miller is going to be a very dangerous lob threat for the Utah Jazz. Imagine seeing Jace Miller in transition, just ready to dunk on you. It's going to be must-see TV, just like how Zohan says.
Absolutely, but this just in, we have another trade from Amari Sterling. It's looking like the Washington Wizards are going to be trading up for the 6th overall pick. They're going to be trading Anthony Simons, Jaime Jaquez, and their 14th overall pick. I mean, we knew that the Wizards were going to make some sort of move during this draft, but I did not think they were going to be trading up for this high of a pick. High lottery type pick. But we'll be able to debrief it right after this break.
At AT&T, we confidently guarantee our network.
You gotta be kidding me.
But we can't guarantee you and your teammates being too connected.
What's good, Cat?
Double oh no.
Bro, I told you I was gonna wear this. Dude, I literally woke up first this morning and sent the fit to the group chat. Guys, I literally bought this outfit before any of y'all.
A connection means something.
You know what? Whatever, it's fine. You can calm down, Cat. Just put on a show.
With AT&T, if there's a network interruption, we'll fix it and permit you a full day of service.
Welcome you back from the break and back to the 2026-2027 HLCC draft presented to you by Wingstop. And before we left for the break, we found out a very big move for the Washington Wizards. They are going to be trading up for the 6th overall pick. Anthony Simons, Jaime Jaquez, and their 14th overall pick are going over to Orlando. And, I mean, really big move for the Wizards. They are trying to find a player that can make them better now. And big name on the board currently, Oz Morant. What do you think about this, Zohan?
I think with a guy like Oz, I guarantee you, most polarizing prospect that we've seen in this draft. I'd say he's the most athletic player we've seen I think he's a generational athlete. You have track star level speed. We know he has at least a 44-inch vertical. He can guard the 1 through 5, I think. You can run him at that small ball center. And the transition, anything is possible in that world. So you pair him with a guy like Mikey Starr, who's a great on-ball creator. Oz brings a lot of off-ball gravity. You can use him as a roll man. You can use him down low. You could run him at the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. And even if you wanted to try the 5, it would all work out. He's like a guard version of Giannis. He hasn't gotten injured. He's an Iron Man, and he can rebound with the best of them. The problem here is can he mentally stay with the Wizards? He's not going to be the main guy there. He's not going to be the head star. He's not going to be the head honcho. And because of this, we've seen Oz throw these little tantrums, you can say, throughout the media when he doesn't get what he wants. So if this happens here, it's a real question if the Wizards can balance these egos, can balance these guys who have been top 6 picks with Mikey, with Nasir Watford, and now with Oz Morant, along with Karl Anthony Towns. Let's see what they can do.
Absolutely. I think Oz Morant, I'm really shocked that he fell this far, but I genuinely think that the Wizards are a very perfect fit for them. He's a guy who's really aggressive, physical on defense. Probably one of the best defenders that we've seen in a very long time. Still really shocked that he fell, but really excited to see if they actually do go with Oz. There are other options, but we'll find out here with Adam Silver.
With the 6th pick in the HLCC draft, the Wizards select Oz Morant out of Texas Tech.
Really happy for the Wizards here, being able to pull off the trade up to get a guy like Oz Morant who's going to really fit well alongside guys like Nasir Watford and Mikey Starr, not to mention Karl Anthony Towns. And you can see Chris Paul and Owen Damson, the Wizards GM, in the crowd, smiling ear to ear. Really happy that they were able to get their guy, and I think Oz is going to be a really good piece for the Washington Wizards.
If I'm the Magic, I am buckling to my knees and smacking myself in the head for that decision just made there. I have no idea what possessed them to go get a guy like Anthony Simons when Oz is just that good defensively and he fits that defensive identity that they have going. But hopefully they know what they're doing more than I do. So let's see what the Magic can go from there.
But it's time for the Suns to make their decision. Honestly, really confusing situation. Have lost KD and Bradley Beal. They are looking for that next guy in a way. Maybe either that next guy or just a guy that they can try to build around, because it's not really looking that great in Phoenix right now.
I can agree. Phoenix is going to be in a little bit of a down year this season, but they can rebuild next season, hopefully. I see 2 potential picks here, which could be Kofi Bass from Purdue and Darrell Henderson from Kansas. Mainly Kofi because of the fact how he can experience this team and give this team more of a better run than Darrell Henderson. So I think Kofi is deserved to be number 7. Should have been higher, but I'll let it slide.
I do think Kofi out of Purdue could be a really good pick. I think he's a really great facilitator. He's a smaller guard, which is probably why he fell a little bit, but really good with his hands, really active defender. And I think Kofi Bass, especially if they get to keep a guy like Devin Booker, I think he can really fit that Phoenix culture. And I think he kind of reminds me, I wouldn't say he reminds me of Chris Paul, but he's kind of like the Chris Paul mold. Well, anyways, we're going to get to the Suns pick, and we're going to be able to figure out who they're going to take here at number 7.
With the 7th pick in the HLCC draft, the Suns select Kofi Bass out of Purdue.
And even serving in the Army at one point, to go from that to playing in the NBA, it's just really inspiring. One of the most inspiring stories out of this year's draft, and you can't help but be happy for the guy. And I'm really excited to see what he can do in the NBA.
I agree, Puffer. Coming off of a national championship, I do think Kofi will be able to start on this team. And maybe because this team is bad, they won't have as much of a good season, but Kofi will develop very nicely for the future to come behind Devin Booker and Fred VanVleet and other guards.
Absolutely. And moving on from the Phoenix Suns, the Raptors, they have 4 draft picks in this first round. So that's crazy, but they have their first one coming up right here. They have the 8th overall pick, and they are officially on the clock. Zohan, who do you think that they should take here? They have a lot of options with guys like Daryl Henderson, Amari Ortega, even Mo Wade or Makuhana. Who do you think the Raptors should take if they're trying to, continue to build on what they have right now?
I think there's two main options here for me personally. It would be either Armani Ortega or Daryl Henderson. I would lead Armani Ortega simply because of the athletic upside that he brings along with his game, because he's able to be more viable as an off-ball threat with Jordan Poole and Tyler Hero. He doesn't take up much space on the ball, so I think he would be more effective here for the Raptors. His only issue is he doesn't have as great of a handle as you would look at for a guy with that type of archetype. With the way that he's able to score the ball and finish the ball, he struggles to get to the rim. He struggles to beat his defenders off the dribble. Compare that to Daryl Henderson, a guy where you give him any shot, he's going to take it. You give him any shot around the wing, around the mid-range, around the rim, any floater, any hook, that shot's going up. He has a great high motor offensively, and I think that he could be really viable. Either of these two guys would be my picks for this team.
I'm just going to take a moment here to just appreciate what the Raptors have been able to do with their assets. Like, they were able to flip Amani Kidd for as many picks as they were able to flip him for. Not to mention Pascal Siakam. They're actually slowly building this team that, give it time, they can really become something. I don't think it's a pick that they can really mess up here. But we're going to go over to Adam Silver, and we're going to get the 8th overall pick from the Raptors.
With the 8th pick in the HLCC draft, the Raptors select Daryl Henderson out of Oregon.
So the Raptors are deciding to go with Daryl Henderson. And I feel like it was either between him or Amani, obviously, but I do like this pick for the Raptors. He can really fit this Raptors culture, and like I said, I genuinely love what they've been building, but I feel like they've done a really good job at giving them the talent that they need to be able to do such a thing.
I think such an underappreciated part of this Raptors rebuild is how balanced of an organization they've become. They have such a deep rotation that I think that Daryl Henderson's progression compared to these other prospects that are coming in, it's almost guaranteed. Compare that to a lot of these other guys where there's this uncertainty. Well, Daryl Henderson doesn't have that. He has leeway to work with.
Absolutely, but we're going to move on to the next pick. Philadelphia 76ers, their 9th pick, was previously traded to the Bulls, so this will be owned by the Bulls. Obviously, looking for guys who can... It's either they can go two routes. They either look for guys who can fit next to Zach LaVine and AD and Kobe White and whatever they have going around there, or they can, probably do the smarter move of just understanding where the roster is, understand that it's really not going to work, and try to trade for, not even trade, but like draft guys who can kind of fit where you would want to go with the future.
Overall, I think I agree with that. I mean, one of the best prospects on the board right now, Armani Ortega, a two-way guy with maybe elite type of two-way potential. I think that's the best route the Bulls could draft a guy like Armani Ortega, develop him, get him real NBA minutes, and see how that goes.
Absolutely, and I think there are other options if they wanted to go different routes, because there are guys who are supposed to be higher in the draft boards. Guys like Cam Wayne and Mo Wade, they were supposed to be a lot higher in this draft, but we haven't gotten any type of calls about them.
Especially on a guy like the Arizona prospects, Mo Wade. I mean, the guy was like a top guard. Not the top guard, but a top guard coming into the draft. Some teams were talking about him, but it's clear he's fallen off of his NBA potential, and this team don't look like he can be the future of a team. And the same with Cam Wayne, Milwaukee with the 4th pick. Instead of drafting maybe a Giannis replacement, they just take their future in the point guard.
Definitely. And there's a lot of possibilities that can happen. The Bulls could finally end the streak of these guys falling, or they take a guy like Armani Ortega and look to build with him in the future. We've got Adam Silver at the podium right now with the decision.
With the 9th pick in the HLCC draft, the 76ers select Armani Ortega out of Tennessee.
Armani Ortega to the Bulls, and I really do like this pick for them. Obviously decided not to keep Jordan Hart, didn't really know what his ceiling was, had a lot of guards, forward, and Armani Ortega, who has a really good defensive upside, and he can really help to build a new culture in Chicago, and I really am happy with this pick for them, and I think he can do a lot of great things.
Definitely. I think it was definitely a move in the right direction, especially after, giving Philly, trading down in the draft. I think this is the right move.
Absolutely, but we're going to pivot over to the 10th pick in the draft, and yet again, it's the Raptors. I think they have a lot of options. Obviously, there's Cam Wayne, who has been falling down a very steep cliff. There's Mo Wade. There's even Maku Hana, who we haven't said his name yet, but really good kid out of the Philippines. The Raptors, like I said before, are in a really good situation. I feel like right here, they can't really make a bad decision.
I agree with you, Puffer. The Raptors can't really make a bad decision, but I do think they're going to pick up Cam Wayne. He's not really the modern power forward that everyone would look for, but once you see him in the post and once you see his post game, that's just something you just don't want to mess with.
Absolutely, and I feel like I wouldn't even hate Mo Wade right here for the Raptors. They are looking for versatile guys, and I think Mo Wade, really good playmaker. He's a good ball handler, and there aren't any real bad shots that the Raptors can take because they're already in such a good position. I feel like if you want to take on a project like Mo Wade, it wouldn't be that bad of a decision. And not even that, but like even Maku. I feel like Maku, another guy who's kind of a project, kind of small, but really gritty player. Really, really good with his handle. He's really good on ball. Really good guard defender. One of the better ones in this draft. They have a lot of options, and we will see who they will be picking. We have our man Adam Silver at the board with the Raptors' 10th overall pick.
With the 10th pick in the HLCC draft, the Raptors select Cam Wayne out of USC.
Shot by Benzers.
Being a winner is a curse. It doesn't matter how much you've won before. You're not a winner until you win again. And again, nothing is enough. No one understands, and you never want it to stop.
So Cam Wayne going to the Raptors. I really do like this pick for them. When you find a guy that had so much potential fall so far, to be able to get him is a really good thing for your franchise.
Also another guy who I think fell down in the draft a lot, specifically just from what we were preconceiving of this guy, Mo Wade. There is a thing with Mo Wade that I like to call Jason Tatum syndrome, where a guy tries to play outside of their frame. You can see it a little bit in Kenny and maybe even JD a bit, trying so hard to imitate the style of a point forward, to imitate the style of a guard. And I think the biggest issue when it comes to a guy like Mo Wade is he doesn't have his own identity offensively. Defensively, he tries to be this high motor guy, but it really falls lackluster because most of the time we've seen him in college, all he's done is run really high usage rates, but he hasn't shown to be this really great playmaker in comparison to a guy like Maku Hana. Maku's a lot shorter and he's a lot older, but the thing is, Maku has, I would say, he already knows what he's going to give you on day one when he steps into that court. Mo Wade is a very big wing, but he likes to play the guard position. He likes to have the ball in his hands. When you have Victor Wembanyama, when you have De'Aaron Fox, when you have even Devin Vassell, when you have Kawhi Leonard coming back, there is no way you would want to draft a guy like Mo Wade, mess up your franchise in this predicament. I'm not the biggest Mo Wade guy, as you can tell. I don't think there should be any conversations with him being drafted at the 11th pick. If the Spurs do select Mo Wade, hopefully they can turn him off into a guy who's able to create a little bit more for others, not just for himself.
I think the Spurs have a big decision to make here at the 11th pick. You could go with a guy like Marquise Chagrin, who we haven't said yet, but he's a really, really good spacing center, but also a really good defensive center as well. They wanted to go with a guy like Marco Hana, who can bring defensive presence and on-ball scoring. They have that option. But the pick is officially in, and we are going to hear from Adam Silver to see where we're going to go with this.
With the 11th pick in the HLCC draft, the Spurs select Mo Wade out of Arizona.
Glad for Mo Wade to see him go to the San Antonio Spurs 2 years ago, getting Kawhi, bringing in a guy like De'Aaron Fox, and now bringing in a guy like Mo Wade who can come off your bench. And I do like this for the Spurs, definitely.
For a historical organization that has done such good as the San Antonio Spurs have, this may be one of the biggest mistakes that they have ever made in the history of their draft process. Why you would select Mo Wade with the 11th pick when there are so many better basketball players on the board.
We're going to pivot over to the Cavs. The Cavs making their first pick of this draft. Just traded for a guy like Chester Banner. Finally moved on from Darius Garland. I mean, they were already officially in a rebuild, but now they are deep into a rebuild. So now they're just trying to find guys and trying to build this new culture. I do like Maku for them. I like Rodrigo Cash. Really good defensive players they already have on the team. But they have a lot of options, so I'm really interested to see who they go with.
I agree. I mean, a team like the Cavs, a rebuilding team, they have a lot of picks. A perfect pick for them would be a guy like Maku. Combo guard, can do a lot. He has solid defense. I think his scoring ability is only going to increase. If they take him, he can definitely develop in something for them.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't even know if it's truly out on a limb, but I feel like they should really take a chance with Benny Check Jr. 7 foot, really good post player, really good defender. He's a guy that can really go there and just develop. You give him time, especially on a team like the Cavs, I feel like he can really develop into something nice. And they are looking for guys who can be stars. And I feel like the best way for them to do that is to, maybe go after a Czech brother. And he is a very good talent. And I think if the Cavs were to go for him, I would not be mad. But we'll see who they go with. They have the 12th pick, and Adam Silver is at the podium ready to announce.
With the 12th pick in the HLCC draft, the Cavaliers select Maku Hanma out of Houston.
The Cavs decide to go with Maku, and I'm really, really happy with this pick. I'm a huge Maku fan. It starts with the point guard. It starts with the guy who brings the ball up the court. It starts with the guy who facilitates for the team and gets guys going. Really good defender, has a lot of upside as a combo guard and on-ball scorer, and he's going to become something. And I really do like this pick for the Cavs.
I definitely have to agree, as with your first lottery pick being here after a disappointing year, I think this is definitely a foot in the right direction. Combo guard, and even has a little two-way potential on him. I think this is the perfect fit for him.
Absolutely. Super happy for him. But now we're going to pivot over to the Pelicans. They have so much potential to be really good, but Kyrie and him have not really been able to click. They're, looking for guys to fit around Zion. I feel like they have a lot of options here. If you want to go the defensive route, I would go with Rodrigo Cash. If you want to go the spacing route, there's still Dan Adams on the board. Defensive potential, I would go with Trey Lynch. Absolute insane defender out of the Philippines. There's still a lot of good options on the board, and I would not be mad at whoever they pick, to be honest.
Call me crazy, but I think they could definitely take a guy like Trayvon Morales. The team is in a very weird situation. I think they can get a young point guard, and he can even develop into a star.
I mean, if we're reaching here, I wouldn't be mad if they even went with Bo Johnson, dude. If they're going for a guard that can really create on ball, Bo Johnson can do that. Really good handle, really good in the post. Like, we don't see that much. Bo is another guy who's really dropped because he would have been lottery if he didn't get injured so late in the season, which is probably why he's so low right now. And the point guard situation has been very, very confusing. They can go with Bo Johnson because, I don't know, I think he has a lot of upside, but obviously this is a very confusing pick for them. But I'm really excited to see who they pick, and Adam Silver is ready with the pick, and he's at the podium right now.
With the 13th pick in the HLCC draft, the Pelicans select Rodrigo Cash out of Missouri.
So the Pelicans decide to go with Rodrigo Cash, and I'm super happy for the guy, but I feel like there was a lot more talent left in the draft. Dan Adams, sharpshooter. Benjamin Check, really good post big with a lot of upside. I just feel like they missed out on a lot of potential guys that could have fit their system a little bit better, but I do like Rodrigo Cash for them.
No doubt, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think Rodrigo Cash is a good pick. As a player, I just think in the lottery, you're picking a player with not high upside. That's full written out type of guy, and you don't pick a guy with much upside. I don't know, it just feels like a weird decision for me.
Absolutely, but we're going to move on to our last pick of the lottery, the Magic at 14. This was originally the Wizards pick, but earlier on in the draft, if you missed it, the Wizards decided to trade their 14th overall pick, Anthony Simons and Jaime Jaquez, for the 6th overall pick, which they used to draft Oz Morant. And now I'm looking at the Magic, and I know it was really controversial deciding to trade up a pick that could have gotten you Oz, and instead going down in the draft. But I do like that the depth that they picked up. I mean, by getting Anthony, by getting Jaime, and now they have options. But I do really like Marquis Chabris at this pick. Really good 3-and-D. He's a really good shot blocking big and defensive talent. I would not hate Marquis Chabris here, but there are a lot more options.
He gives me a lot of shades of Chet Holmgren. I don't think he has nearly the amount of upside as Chet Holmgren because, he did kind of fall down later into the draft. But the potential is there to come in on any organization and get genuine role player PT. I think the youngest player in this draft as well, I think a sleeper pick that they could take right here would be a guy like Mosh Hart. I love Mosh Hart. He did great things at Purdue. They won the national championship. You get a guy with winning experience. He was a one-and-done player as well, so it's not like he's old. I'm taking a guy like Mosh Hart, and I think that they can make him something really good. He's already a great defensive talent.
Absolutely, man. I think they have a lot of options. They are making moves to try to win now. Like, Oz Morant isn't really like a project, but going for guys that, just kind of beef up your bench. And I genuinely feel like they have a better chance now to, actually contend, especially last season being as bad as they were. They can actually be better with Paulo progression, with Franz progression, with Devon Hill getting better, with, a full healthy season of Jalen Suggs. Not to mention actual bench depth this year. The pick is in. We're going to go to Adam Silver at the podium.
With the 14th pick in the HLCC draft, the Magic select Marquis Chabris out of Georgetown.
So the Magic are going to go with Marquis Chabris, and I really do like this pick for them. I think he's going to be a very serviceable and reliable backup big day one. And like I was saying, I really do like what the Magic have done in this draft. They brought in depth, their bench got better, and I think they're a name that you actually have to look out for next year in the East, because Paulo's only getting better, and the team around him got way better as well. But anyways, that is going to do it for the lottery of this draft. If you want to be able to see the rest of the draft from pick 15 to pick 60, please join our Discord. We are going to do it in our voice channels. And if you want to see your player get picked or whatever, please join the VC, join the server. But anyways, I thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience, as this was a very long project. I thank everybody who was able to help with it, from Kyle to Kenny to MMJ to TCW. Everybody that helped with commentary, with Odam and Zohan, thank you so much. Even Noto as well, for getting me the clips. I thank everybody else who, if I didn't get to say your name, for helping as well. We are very much excited for season 3 of HLCC. We have big things planned, so please stay tuned. This is Puffer, and we out.
It's my love, it's your love, it's our love. And I be thinking the world is out of love. So love struck, it's fucked up. And she don't really care because everybody want the same thing. New chain, new car, and the same ring. I just wanna make money with the same gang. New glass, new frame, but the same lane. Whole team cold different, but the same pain. Rolly, I just wanna plain Jane. Bitches fucking different niggas for the same fame. I'm committed to myself, nigga, so I can't change. She wanna pop it, lock it, drop it. I'm so